Good morning. I thought I would just talk to you in the next few weeks because I had some difficulties thinking about what topic to take. I find it easier when I've got a sort of series I can think of. And so I thought I might talk to you about some of the things I love about Jamaica. And one of the things I absolutely love, in fact, I think I might have mentioned it before in one of these talks, is that Jamaicans, if you say to them, "How are you doing?" they very often say, "I am blessed." Or people say, "I'm giving thanks." And I think that's wonderful. And I think they mean it sincerely. I think people do feel blessed and are giving thanks. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think God's blessings show up in our lives in a million different ways. So sometimes God gives us blessings directly. He gives us ways of acting in our lives. He gives us our good actions to do some good thing in the world. So he blesses us directly. He gives us help. We call it grace to act well in the world. But of course, God blesses us in a million other ways. He gives us people around us who support us and are kind to us and look after us. He gives us our food every day. He gives us our circumstances. And I actually think circumstances can be really, really important for us, the people around us, even the place that we live in. And I think, it's at least one part of living in Jamaica is that Jamaica itself, the place, is a blessing. The wonderful environment is a blessing. The beautiful island and the good weather and so many other things about how we live together in Jamaica are a blessing. And I want to talk a bit about some of those things in weeks to come. And I think very often the people in our lives are a blessing. We have, as I say, the people who support us and are kind to us and look after us. The people who effectively become our real family, whether they are related to us or not. I live with Father Clifton and Father Aidan, and they support me in everything I do. And without them, I would be much, much poorer off. They are effectively my family. I miss my blood relatives who are all back in the UK, but I have a family here and they support me and love me. And that's really powerful. But I think actually people can be a blessing to us in maybe what feels like a more complicated way, maybe doesn't always feel like a blessing. You can have somebody in your life, for example, who is awkward with you, but they help you to see something about yourself that you might be inclined to miss. They make it clear that you're not acting well in some situation. They pull you up. They make you act a little better than you might otherwise do without them. I think good friends do that for their friends. They help them not just to feel comfortable and good, but also occasionally to say, "Hey, come on, that wasn't the best. That wasn't your best. You can be better than that. You can do better than that." And that's a blessing. And talking about the more difficult side of blessings gets me onto the fact that even the bad things that happen to me in my life can, in some ways, be blessings. We may not always be in good circumstances. We may not always have good people around us. And some of the things that happen to us can be bad, and some of them very bad. And that makes me think of that wonderful line in the book of Job where Job says, "If we take joy from the Lord's hand, must we not take sorrow too?" The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So Job sees his troubles as a blessing from the Lord. And that makes me think again of a wonderful film. If you've never seen it, I really have a chance to. I strongly recommend it. It's called Into Great Silence. It's about a monastery in the south of France, a very, very strict monastery. It's a very quiet film. And right at the end of the film, there's an interview with a monk, and he says, "I thank God every day for making me blind." And that's a hard thing to say, I think, a very hard thing to come to. And I'm sure even he has days when he is not happy, not thankful, but frustrated. And still, he thanks God for being blind. He says, the very next sentence, he says, "I'm sure it's been very good for me to be blind." Now, we have to be a little careful about this. People say, everything happens for a reason. And I believe that, but sometimes the immediate reason is someone has acted badly, right? Sometimes suffering comes our way because others act badly towards us. And sometimes, of course, we inflict suffering on other people because we act badly. But even then, God is not surprised. Our bad actions, bad as they are against God's will in one way and part of his plan in another. Part of his plan because God only allows them so that he can bring even greater good out of them. Now, that may be hard, I think, in some situations to see. I think we see that best looking back on the bad times of our lives. We see that God's hand was there with us, and that indeed we were blessed even in those hard times. I think that's easier to see looking back on them. At the time, we're just in the middle of the mess, and maybe it doesn't even feel much better to say to ourselves, well, this is happening for a reason. God has a plan. That's a hard thing to say. It's hard, but it's true. And so I really hope that Jamaicans never change in this regard, that they continue to see their lives as blessed and as things to give thanks to God for, because whatever is happening in our lives, God is acting in them for the best.